Isn't that beautiful? It's BATJAC J.W. and it is 1911 time on the channel. Then again, it's always 1911 time. There's never not an excuse. It doesn't take much for me to bring out a 1911 right here on the channel. And this one's a special one for sure. Now, this is kind of weird because it's kind of a Frankenstein gun, and I will tell you a little bit about that. But this is indeed would be a World War II model. This one here, you can see on the slide, it says U.S. and S. Co. Swissville, PA, USA. USA. This is a cool little piece because now this is a recent acquirement for the meme, and of course bringing it out to you in the channel. Those of you that some of you have already seen it. Depends on where you're following BATJAC J.W, right? But those of you right here on the main channel, right here on the YouTube following, here it is for the kind of first real time on the main channel where we got it, and you get to see the United States property. Ooh, that's super cool. We got some stampings and everything, but it's cool, man. It's got some. It's definitely worn, but I'll explain to you a little bit about this thing. It's interesting because we have a Union switch and signal slide here, and that's what it is. Railroad company making switches and signals and stuff, my guess. Now, Union switch and signal actually only made about 55,000 pistols. They are the, next to Singer, they are the second most desirable and collectible of 1911. Now this one here is kind of, I've seen a couple like this. This is interesting. You've got a World War I type frame here. You notice there's no scalloping there. You got a little bit of a short beaver tail, so you do get a little bit of hammer bite, but I actually don't get it with this gun. For me, it could be my small hands, but I got an old original Colt and a Colt reproduction World War I model that will give me hammer bite. It could maybe because this is a slightly bobbed hammer. They modified the hammer back then, but it's all original. In the case of, like, you can actually notice the frame is the same color. It's all parkerized, that beautiful kind of, it's almost like a green kind of finish. It's my favorite. I absolutely love it. But so you can even see, if you notice, the front of here is a little bit darker. You can see actually right here is where the line begins. It's heat treatment. And also right here is the heat treatment right around this takedown, or the slide lock notch right here. You can see a little heat treatment there. Blued barrel hood there, but it's worn, a little worn, and the awesome sights. This gun is definitely battle worn. And of course, the you got the flat, smooth mainspring housing. So it's indeed this is all original, but it's a kind of a Frankenstein model. It's interesting. That's what also brought me to liking it. And of course, the fella we just did some trading around and wound up acquiring it. So with the trading and everything, it really didn't cost me all that much. Yeah, you gotta love that. Met him at a truck stop, and he had this pistol and had to do a little trading with him because I just had to have it. I knew I had to take this baby home. This is something really cool. Also, I wanted a Union switch and signal 1911, and here it is. It shoots amazing. It's great. It's a great shooter. But one thing I did do is I changed out the recoil spring for a little heavier one. I have a video on that. That will be out on the channel. But that's it. Just I did that solely for the fact of just shooting it. I didn't want to batter it up. I wanted to make sure it had a nice recoil spring in there. It's actually a heavier one than usually. I think an 18-pound recoil spring. Shoots great, softens the recoil a little bit and everything. Of course, I kept the original recoil spring in the box in case I needed to switch the pistol back to its original parts. But I did indeed take everything out of the gun, sear disconnector pins, to ensure that all the parts were original and nothing had been replaced. And that was what the neat thing about this gun was. All the parts are all from the U.S. military. Really cool stuff. I got a World War II model, Remington Rand, that's all original with its original markings and everything. So it's kind of neat to have something like this that is a great example of the military basically rehashing and swapping out parts and Frankensteining their own stuff to make it work. And that was the beauty of these pistols, because back then you had Union Switch and Signal, you had Remington Rand, Colt, Ithaca, Singer sewing machines made about 500, and then they were pulled from doing so. But you got all these companies that were making them, and they all had to fit together. And it's kind of interesting. You got, even with the M1 carbine, or carbine, however you want to say it. You had jukebox companies making them, General Motors making them. So a really interesting time in the war, and to have something like this, a piece of history like this, and what it is, it's really unique and really cool. And I'm just absolutely thrilled to have this in my collection. It's an absolute amazing gun. This is 1911 right here. It's a great example. In fact, it still has the United States property and the markings. It's all still there, and it's not all beat up too bad, but it's definitely worn. And I love the wear on these things. I'd want to always, when I get these war guns, I always want one that looks like it definitely was carried and used. If it could talk, the stories this baby could tell. So anyway, I'm BATJAC J.W. Like, share, and subscribe as always. And I am just so thrilled to bring something like this to the channel. Thanks for watching.